How's it going, everybody? Material here, bringing you the results from a study I've been working on comparing recoil reduction of barrels with different types of guns in Pubg. Let me just say that the results were absolutely astounding, so without further ado, let's get started. So my motivation for this study really comes from the obscure specifications of recoil reduction given in game, with the single plus for the flash hider and the double plus given for the compensator. Obviously the compensator is supposed to be better than the flash hider in terms of recoil, but by how much exactly? Why wouldn't they just give us actual percentages? My thought then was that it must vary from weapon to weapon, possibly by the caliber of bullets they're using. So the purpose of this test was to really figure out how much recoil is reduced for each weapon. The first one I tried was the QBZ. Now I did all of these tests by opening fire with each barrel attached, without touching the aiming stick, trying to maintain the same distance from the wall, and comparing the vertical spread of each using the suppressor as sort of a baseline. With the QBZ, which shoots 5.56 ammo, you'll see from suppressor to flash hider there's about a 15% reduction in the vertical recoil spread. But when you're going from the flash hider to the compensator, there's only about a 5%, maybe 5% difference, which was absolutely astonishing to me. So I went ahead and tested the SCAR, the G36, the M4, and got essentially the same results, in that the flash hider reduced the recoil a significant amount, but the compensator really didn't do all that much compared to the flash hider, which I thought was crazy. I just assumed that 2 pluses would mean it's twice as good, which apparently is not the case. So I went next to the 7.62 weapons and I tried the AK and the barrel, but I'm only showing the AK here. So with the flash hider equipped, you'll see that the recoil reduction is only about 5%, which is completely different than the 5.56 where we were getting like 15%. And then when we again go to the compensator, we see that we get pretty much an incremental decrease in the recoil reduction, where it drops off about 10% from the suppressor, which is pretty consistent in what I would actually expect from the compensator. Moving on to the 9mm weapons, the UMP, the results from this are pretty dramatic, a lot more dramatic than the 5.56 or even the 7.62. You'll see that with the flash hider equipped, we get a reduction of about 15%. I was astounded, when it stopped right then and there. What was even more shocking was when I equipped the compensator. I mean, look at the reduction in recoil you get with the UMP compared to everything else I just showed you. That's at least, a 25% reduction. So here's a summary of the results we just went over, with my recommendations circled in green. So with the 7.62, I would go with the compensator just because you're doubling the recoil reduction from the flash hider to compensator, and that's pretty significant. With the 5.56 though, I'd actually choose the flash hider just because you don't get very much additional recoil reduction when you go from the flash hider to compensator, and that reduction in muzzle flash is crucial. Then for the 9mm, I would definitely do the compensator just because 25% recoil reduction is huge. And of course, these recommendations are all situation dependent, right? So, take them with a grain of salt. Now let's go take a look at the DMRs. So this is the Mini 14 here shooting 5.56 ammo. And basically what I'm doing is essentially the same thing with the ARs, but I'm firing 10 shots in a row at a pretty even pace. So we'll see here with the flash hider that there's really almost no reduction in the recoil. If you were to bring the bottom of that flash hider spray up, it would be pretty much even with the suppressor. There with the compensator though, you do see a significant difference, so that's great. I would say ultimately it's about a 10%, 15% reduction for the compensator, and then for the suppressor and the flash hider, at least for the 5.56 ammo, there's really not that big of a difference. Now, taking a look at the SLR shooting 7.62 ammo, you'll see again that with the flash hider compared to the suppressor, there's really not that big of a difference. But when we slap on the compensator, there is going to be a significant recoil reduction, which is consistent with the Mini 14 we just saw. So the compensator overall provides, about 10 to 15% reduction, whereas the flash hider really doesn't do all that much compared to the suppressor. But obviously, if you see a flash hider and that's the only muzzle attachment you have, equip it. And that concludes the results. So if you like what you saw or you found this useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to provide them below. You can find me on Twitter, and I also stream on Twitch playing PUBG, obviously, Fortnite, and also Apex Legends. So again, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care.